Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through how to make this gorgeous round walnut dining table. A few years ago I made this other herringbone table for our last house, but this dining room is just a little bit smaller and I've always imagined a round table in this space. So I found my dream table off of Rejuvenation's website, but this table here cost over $3,000, so I am DIYing it for a lot less. I teamed up with Rockler for this project. They supplied this walnut lumber and a few other key tools, so I will link all of those tools and materials in the description below. We also have a nice set of project plans for this table, and you can find that in the description below as well. Let's get into it. I'm building a 4-foot table, so I'm using 10 walnut boards that are 3/4 thick and 5 inches wide. The two end boards I had to rip down to 3.5 inches so they fit within the 48-inch clamps. I laid out the boards first and arranged them how I wanted them. To secure these boards together, I'm using wood glue and a lot of clamps. These 48-inch clamps work great if you're building a smaller table like this, and then I used smaller clamps to secure each of the boards together at the seams. I let the table set overnight and then removed all of the clamps. Here I'm using a chisel to carefully remove some of the hardened wood glue. I also used a hand planer to scrape down any high spots. Before cutting down the round tabletop, I sanded down the entire top and bottom side using 60, 80, and 120 grit sandpaper. If you're using Rubio Monocoat for your top coat like me, you'll only want to sand up to 120 grit. To cut the tabletop, I'm using my router with a 1/4 inch up spiral bit and the circle cutting jig from Rockler. You're only supposed to cut about 1/8 inch at a time, so I had to make multiple passes around the table until it was cut all the way through. After the table was cut, I went around and rounded the edges a bit with my sander so they weren't so sharp. Next, I'm making the legs for the table. This table is 30 inches tall. For the legs, I'm using 3/4 inch by 3 inch by 48 inch walnut boards and gluing 2 of them together for each leg. I threw on some wood glue, rolled it out, and then used some clamps to secure the boards together. After the wood glue was set, I removed the clamps and then used my planer to make sure the table legs were nice and square. This also took off any of the hardened wood glue. I cut the legs down to size at 30 inches. Each end of the leg I cut at a 15-degree angle. Check out the project plans in the description below for the specific dimensions and cut list. On the inside of all the table legs, I had to cut a straight chamfer. I'm using kerf corner brackets to secure the table legs to the aprons, so this straight edge will allow the corner bracket to sit flat against the table leg. I used 3/4 inch by 3-inch walnut boards for the aprons as well. I mitered the corners at a 45-degree angle and cut those down to size at 24 inches. To secure the tabletop to the frame, I'm using these tabletop fasteners. These allow the wood to expand and contract without binding and cupping, and they're super easy to fasten to your tabletop. I cut a 5/16 inch deep slot with my table saw. That is 7/16 of an inch down from the top of the apron for the tabletop fasteners. I mentioned before that I'm using these kerf corner brackets to attach the legs to the aprons. I positioned the apron pieces upside down on a flat surface and made a mark on the apron pieces where the slots needed to go for the corner brackets. I cut a 5/16 inch deep slot in each end of the apron pieces. Next, I used my router and a 1/4 inch round over bit to round all the edges of the table legs as well as the bottom edge of the apron pieces. After all the edges were rounded, I sanded down the legs and the apron pieces up to 120 grit sandpaper. Now it's time to secure the pieces together for the frame of the table. For this, I'm using 5/16 inch hanger bolts, these kerf mount corner brackets, and some small wood screws with washers. I clamped each of the corners together and put the corner brackets in place. I drilled holes for the small screws and then put the screws in place, not tightening them down all the way yet. I set the table leg in place and marked where the hanger bolt needs to go. I drilled a hole for my hanger bolt and tightened 2 nuts together so that I could twist the coarse thread of the hanger bolt into the wood. I secured the leg and hanger bolt to the corner bracket with a nut and washer. After that was secure, I went ahead and tightened the rest of the screws for the corner bracket. To finish the table, I'm using this pure Rubio Monocoat. This is my first time using Rubio Monocoat and I was really impressed. It really brought out the beautiful grain of the walnut. I cleaned the surface with a clean cloth first. I mixed the Rubio Monocoat according to the label, and then I used this small foam applicator to apply the finish. The finish needs to sit for about 3 minutes, and then you can buff it out with a clean rag until it's all soaked in. To attach the tabletop to the frame, I used these tabletop fasteners and the small screws that came with it. And there you have it, a beautiful $3,000 walnut table that cost less than $900 to make. Check out the project plans in the description below. I go into a lot more detail on those project plans, but I hope you found this video helpful as well. As always, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it.